What does it feel like to actually not be needed because of someone's insecurity, but just be wanted?
That's such a healthy, grown-up version of a relationship. Relationships are really about this idea of, I want to be with you because I see you, because I want you, not because you help me to fulfill something in me, or because you give me something I can't give myself.
Hello and welcome to the Therapy Floor with Dr. Ritz and Dr. Vicki.
We are on the floor getting deep into the human experience, unpacking people's everyday dilemmas through the lens of two psychologists.
Let's start unpacking today's dilemmas.
This comes in from a 28-year-old female. I'm in a long-term relationship, but my partner and I are growing apart. I know deep inside that our relationship won't be forever, but I can't take the action and break up with him. It feels like it's not the right time and I don't want to rush it. Am I right to wait, or is it just the fear of change and maybe the fear of hurting him that makes me stay? How can I figure out when the time is right? Interesting one. What are your thoughts, Vicki?
Can I be honest?
Yes. This is why we love you.
I think that the time is now. The time is now. If you're starting to have these questions and you've been thinking about them for a long time, the time is now. And that may sound very harsh and very blunt, and I'm not making light of the situation or making light of how difficult it is and how upsetting it will be to hurt someone that you love or have loved. It really is difficult. However, I don't know if I've come across anybody in a relationship or who has ended a relationship who looks back and says, I should have ended it later. I think everyone usually says, I wish I had done this sooner, or I wish I hadn't wasted time, or I wish I hadn't dragged it out, because ultimately that leads to further hurt, more confusion. So I think that there is never a right time, but if we want to say there is a right time, I'm going to be blunt and really blasé and say the right time is now. What, I don't know, what do you think?
I mean, I'm quite a firm believer that, she's already, I'm going to just read it again, actually. I just want to come back to what she said. I know deep inside our relationship won't be forever. I mean, for me, why are you in a relationship then?
Go there.
Yeah.
Go there, Ritz.
Surely you're getting into a relationship because you see longevity.
If that's what she wants. If that's what they both wanted. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to know if she wanted, what were her plans and expectations for this relationship in the first place. But I like what you were saying though, and I want to hear a bit more about why you think that. Why is she in a relationship if it doesn't want to last forever? Like, what were your thoughts?
I guess my thoughts were, she's kind of setting it up like, I want a long-term relationship, right? So what she said, I'm sorry, I keep picking this up and going back to it. I think it's really stuck out for me. I'm in a long-term relationship, right?
Okay,
So she's already saying,
yeah,
she believes in long-term relationships because she's in one, I imagined, right?
Yeah.
But my partner and I are growing apart. So they're growing apart. That's not working for her because there's the but there.
Yeah.
And I know deep inside that our relationship won't be forever. So I guess that's why I was saying in my head, if you want to be in a long-term relationship and you already have these feelings, well, he's not going to be the person that I want to be with forever. There's your sign.
Yeah.
There's your red flag.
Yeah.
You don't want to spend the rest of your life, it looks like, with this person. So why are we still...
Why are you still there?
Why are you still there? And so that was what was interesting to me, because that's what I would go into. You already know it's over. Why are you still there?
Yeah.
What's keeping you there?
Yeah.
And it sounds like to me, what's keeping her there is fear. And I would be really wanting to know about endings in her life.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like she's trying to create this perfect ending.
Yeah.
For their and I know, why wouldn't you want a relationship to end amicably? And in, you know, therapy, we talk about not perfect, but we talk about good enough endings. But it just seems like there's something she's creating here where she maybe doesn't want to go through the hurt and the pain of an ending.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm also thinking about? I'm thinking about her assumption or belief that she may hurt her partner by ending. And normally you wouldn't even think twice about that, would you? Because it makes sense. It's a logical thing to let someone down or to end something that has been really important in your life. You don't want to inflict that pain upon the other person. But even the idea that she may be doing that suggests some kind of imbalance there, don't you think?
Can you say more?
How do I phrase this? When I worry about hurting, I'm going to say a child. I worry about hurting a child because I know that I'm in a position of, like, not authority, but power. There's a power difference here.
And I got that sense too. It was almost like she was taking care of him.
Yeah.
Like a mother figure.
Yeah. Yeah. And why? Like, why does she view their relationship in this way? I mean, there's the assumption, I'm guessing, that he may not want to end the relationship. Do you know what I mean? But actually, is that an assumption, or is that truth, or is that an assumption?
What's her evidence for that?
What's her evidence for believing that this will hurt him? He could actually feel quite liberated too. He may want to end the relationship too, but he's thinking he doesn't want to hurt you. But I think the very thought of wanting to take care of someone, so therefore I'm going to avoid being true to myself in order to take care of you, is very problematic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already thinking about this lady's attachment style.
Yeah.
She sounds quite avoidant.
Yeah.
You know, she's avoiding her own needs, because she's almost like projecting the other person's needs.
Yeah.
Or projecting her needs onto that other person.
Yeah.
So she's denying what she needs in order to take care of him.
Yeah.
And we see that in avoidant attachment styles. You know, you're avoiding deep down what is meaningful to you, what is your priority, what's bringing you value, what's your purpose. And, you know, I guess other thoughts would be how often, how long has she been feeling this? Is this like a long-term thought? Is it something that's just popped up? Is it after an argument? Is it a reactive thing?
Yeah. Yeah. And in what ways are they growing apart? Are they becoming different people, or are they becoming just less interested in each other? Do they have different values? You know, like, what's behind the growing apart? Actually, that could tell a lot, doesn't it? Because I don't think that just naturally happens. You just naturally grow apart from someone. I think society these days likes to make it as though if someone isn't serving your needs, you kind of move on. Like go where you need to go. Like, not everyone can come with you on your journey. Oh my gosh, I despise that one. I despise that, because there's just so much more to understand. So what is the reason for the growing apart? And something that you once thought, yeah, this is going to be long term, now is no longer working for you. And it's okay. It's okay for that to happen. But also, yeah, I think she's right to be asking herself some questions here. I'd also say on the other end, you know, how would she feel if this were her partner wondering the same thing and delaying ending a relationship that isn't working for him? How would she feel?
Part of me is actually, my gut reaction to that is maybe she would want to feel in a safe and secure place before it's ended.
Yeah.
Like, again, projecting those ideas onto him.
Yeah.
Or I need to, when is the right time to end it?
Yeah, as if that's what he would need,
Yeah,
because that's what she needs. Yeah. Yeah.
How does she feel safe and secure? What does that look like for her? What does it look like to feel safe and secure when you're not in a relationship? When you've lost that? Because even though they've grown apart, I guess it's still going to be familiar. Oh, I can't say that word today.
Familiarity.
And when you lose that familiarity, how do you still create that sense of safety for yourself? Might not be working for you, but it's still familiar.
Yeah. I think this is where attachment styles can be helpful to think about this, because I think it's good to look at, what does make me feel safe? Because attachment is all about, how do I feel safe and vulnerable and secure in relationships? And if I am avoidant, it's because there is that fear of being seen. There is that fear of being attended to, because what happens actually if this person lets me down, like other people have let me down? Relationships and closeness isn't safe. Does she feel a close knitting with her own identity? Does she feel secure in who she is as a person? Does she know what she's about? Does she know what her values are? Does she know what her priorities are? Does she know what relationships mean to her? Becoming intimate and knowledgeable with your own identity can help, I think, for you to start to feel secure outside of a relationship.
Absolutely. And I guess I'd also be wanting to know, like, how has she ended relationships in the past, and for what were those reasons did she end those relationships in the past? And also tying back in with this attachment style thinking, does she tend to go for maybe men that are quite anxious? Because we know that an anxious attachment style and an avoidant attachment style, like, together,
they lock.
Yeah, they just attract each other, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, so who is she also without that feeling of being needed, with the possibility of being able to push someone away? Actually, because that can be quite frightening, and that's why you would tend to, your dysfunction would meet up with someone else's dysfunction. They'd really, you could hook your coat onto the peg, What does it feel like to actually not be needed because of someone's insecurity, but just be wanted?
Yeah.
Does that feel okay or not?
I feel like that's such a healthy, grown-up version of a relationship, though.
Yeah. Say more.
And it's not often talked about, is it?
No, but say more.
Just this idea that we don't have to be in relationships, right? It's not this end goal that we have to aspire to be in. Like, if we're in them, that's great. But I think relationships are really about this idea of, I want to be with you because I see you, because I want you, not because you help me to fulfill something in me.
Yes.
Or because you give me something I can't give myself.
Yeah.
But it's more this idea of, what I see in me, you see in me too.
Yeah.
And you enjoy it as much as I do. And that more complementary style, rather than, I often draw my patients' circles of relationships, where we can either I've just put it on here, we can either be really far apart or we can be really enmeshed in relationships. And I always say that, the overlap really should only be about a third.
Yeah.
And then, you have this whole other life.
Yeah.
That really is just about you, not about your whole relationship. And they have this whole other life as well. That really is just about them and not about your relationship. But you can champion each other through that and champion yourself through it too.
Yeah. But I don't think we really encourage people. I don't think Yeah, I don't think necessarily we really encourage people to feel complete and whole as themselves, because that's where it starts, isn't it? Because if you were to feel an insecure, whether they're insecure avoidant or insecure anxious, there is a lack of security within themselves, within who am I? Like, am I enough as I am? It starts with that. And I don't think we do enough to really help people to develop a really healthy sense of self, to know that I'm okay when I'm with someone, I'm okay when I'm without someone. I'm even okay as a standalone without having to flick someone away. Because I think also that's another function of like someone who is anxiously avoidant. I need to be able to flick you away, because then I can feel more in control. I can feel more powerful. I can feel more secure. But when you can feel like that without the need to pull, like push someone away or to pull them closer, without that, relationships will be even more of a difficulty, because relationships can be hard regardless, even if you're securely attached. But that's the foundation, isn't it? Becoming very comfortable and secure in your own identity and who you are.
And really, like, where is that developed? It's in early years.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that if, I don't want people to think, oh, well, if I didn't have that, then
it's a done deal.
It's a done deal. You know, I think it's something that people can still work on, can't they? As long as they have that self-awareness to understand, am I somebody that's maybe, if they're describing themselves as quite needy in a relationship, I would often say, okay, that's like quite an anxious attachment. If they're somebody who's quite like, oh, I only need to see my partner like once every 2 weeks, that I'd say it's quite an avoidant attachment. Playing with very loose things here. And that's often going to come from a childhood where you either had to ramp it up to get your needs met, and whether that would be, as a child, maybe through crying, or being upset or being quite loud, to, really feel the need to be seen, because we do need to be seen, and we do need to have that love and that safety and that security.
Definitely.
Or that, maybe caregivers weren't emotionally available to you. So I'm not saying that you were abandoned, because it doesn't have to be as traumatic as that. Your parents could very much have been at home all the time, but they just weren't emotionally available to you.
Yeah.
So you learnt to just do it on your own.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a reliable source.
Yeah, I feel like we've again gone deep with this one, haven't we?
Quite deep.
But I think that's like MO, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, we want to go deep into the human experience.
We're going deep into the human experience.
So again, we're posing more questions to you. What does it mean to have power in a relationship? What does it mean to let someone down? Why do you feel the need to take care of someone to the detriment of your own needs? That's the question that I would pose back to you. And ultimately, if you are thinking about ending a relationship and you know it's not working for you right now, that is enough of a sign to say, I think it's time to end this.
Or to even just start having those conversations. Because sometimes I feel like if you decide to end a relationship, like, you have to have had decided and that's it. But hopefully you're both in a grown up enough conversation, grown up enough relationship to be able to just have that conversation. And I that's a scary thing to do. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying this should come easily and naturally, but I think to be able to say, or to feel first and think, this just doesn't feel right to me. And then to be able to sit down with your partner and say, I have felt this way, that it doesn't feel right. How are you feeling?
Yes, exactly. Because then that comes back to the point we were making earlier about, what does this growing apart look like? And actually, is it salvageable? Just because you've decided in your mind that actually we're growing apart and that's it, we have to go our separate ways. Well, I don't know. Maybe there is some negotiation there. Maybe there is some compromise there. Again, to see how your partner is feeling without making assumptions also about how he's going to feel, how he's going to respond, what he's thinking. Yes, having a discussion.
Because it's quite a void, isn't it? She's having those discussions with herself.
Yeah.
She's not co-creating in that relationship.
Yeah.
And that's what relationships are about, is co-creation together.
Yeah.
So I encourage you, if this has been your dilemma, or if you're going through something similar, to find that internal courage and sit down and have those difficult conversations if they feel safe to do so.
I second that.
If you guys learnt today, we would love to know, what do you take away? Drop us a comment down below. Just remember to please like and subscribe and follow us on our social media channels. This is Dr. Ritz
And Dr. Vicki.
and we'll see you on the floor very, very soon.
Bye.
Bye.